We are back again. Today I'm going over the topic don't wait, take action. I really think this is super valuable, especially for anyone out there that just always been preparing and waiting and then not willing to take the risk because they could have achieved so much more just by simply giving it first try. We often miss out so much opportunity around us when we are not simply giving that first try because of either people are judging what we think, or we tend to see like there's too much risk for it. But sometimes all of those are just prediction, and I really think we should go out there, take the first step, and figure out from that point on. Although it's good to have a plan B or whichever you have to always back you up. But if you think about whenever you're writing an essay, do you think you will ever come up with something if you never just given a shot by writing something, right? It's so simple that all you have to do, you just have to start off with one sentence. You don't have to ask for much. Oh, I probably said it wrong there, but all you need is one sentence and you work from there. And which is why there's so much mistake I'm seeing today, that no one is willing to take the mistake because of what others think of them and how they might judge them, and they miss out every single opportunity they get. Like for example, just simply me talking to a family relative and parent, their knowledge is at a certain limit, and so do mine. But I'm sure that I have more value. I have more different knowledge I experienced to learn. However, they might have had more experience and expertise in lifestyle because they're like maybe 40, 50-ish. They definitely have more experience on that. So on those, I will listen advice for them. But if we come to like entrepreneurship, education, and I'm a first gen student and they have never experienced any of these, I honestly think I should really just take their word or really build off of what I think too. And which is why, like right now, I'm currently in college, but this wasn't my first choice. Being in college was actually not my ideal choice, but under my parent encouraged because that's what they think, right? They nowadays you just go college, finish your education, get a job. However, it's more important for me to come here for the experience because I simply knowing that what I need to do, and I don't know what could have happened if I just dropped out already. I might have just lost a lot of experience, but now I am here to actually experience this college life as a first year student. So I would really learn over time. Giving the first try, it will lead to more opportunity. It's like a branches. First, you give that first try here, and once you get it, you might get more new thought out of it because you never know what something you've done that could lead to many ideas. So for example, I did not know that. Hold up, let me lock this here. I did not know that I could done so much by simply learning about social media. So a lot of people I see, they just do the basic of social media, making few posts a day or whatever to grow. But the thing is, I could turn one post into multiple by simply doing this. I'm doing the compound effect, where you slowly build up more and more. Because imagine having social media content. It is out there working for you 24/7, reaching new audience and new people, and which is why you should really just take the first step of learning something new skill or new like whatever that could be useful, right? And next up is GOAT, greatest of all time. You guys all know that term. There is so many people that we call them the GOAT, or even yourself, right? You call yourself the greatest of all time, but the greatest of all time, it requires you to give it a first try and actually make mistake and learn from it. You can't automatically be just absolute perfect on the first try, which is why it's stopping a lot of people. A lot of people are not willing to give the try, not willing to accept their failure because they just simply want to be the GOAT in the beginning. They want everyone to call them this greatest of all time, but without even giving it a try, without even putting in any work. So I have a perfect example here with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan actually went into play baseball in part of his career, right? However, he was still called the GOAT regardless because he was just the greatest of all time. But he did not know if he was really that good in baseball, if he could even make it to the MLB league, because it's really rare for an NBA player to just jump in MLB. It will be ridiculous because then it will show that anyone could just do it. However, he still gave it his try. Although it didn't turn out with the best result, he still eventually returned it back into basketball career. But at least he gave it a try and he figured out that wasn't the path. And sometimes you have to try and fail to really figure out and minimize the risk later on. Because you don't want to sacrifice like what, half of your lifetime to figure out if that thing is really for you or not. And which is why you gotta start early too, like I always promote about. The earlier you start, the better you learn it, the faster you learn it. And once you learn that thing, then you will realize if that's really meant for you. And to become the greatest of all time, it will take like 1,000 million of attempt of doing a one thing over and over and over. Which is why the greatest of all time is called greatest of all time, because they've done a lot of stuff that people were not willing to sacrifice for. People were not willing to do it for. And which eventually why they got stuff that people wasn't got the name for it. Next we got focus. This is really important. When you are really taking any action, you have to stay focused on that thing. Just because you failed it the first year or so, sorry there, just because you failed it the first year or so, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It simply means that you have to stay focused and keep moving forward and learn and better. Like if you've been in an industry for like 30 year plus and you still got nothing out of it, like I'm sorry, that's just probably not it. You might have to move on. But by spending at least 5 to 10 years, you should already know if that passes for you or not, or is that thing really, yeah, you're seeing result out of it. You should see a slowly learning curve and a grow on a chart throughout time when you learn, because it's that simple. You can't just automatically be right here on the top right away when you first started. You always have to start off by simply maybe just making a smaller mistake, and you're improving from time to time. It's that simple. That's how compound work as well. For example, owning real estate investment, owning rental property. And I might get comfortable here because I'm talking something that I'm really into and passionate about. Because if you were owning real estate investment, you can't be constantly just buying and flipping, buying and flipping. You need to eventually own property that could bring you like cash flow. You got to know exactly amount of money you want per month, right? Because when you always flip, you just make that quick money, quick money, quick money. That doesn't mean anything. It's the real meaning here is how you can maintain those wealth. It's not about how fast you could get the wealth. And which why you have to stay focused on your goal and task. If you were doing real estate investment, if you were just flipping, you got to make sure you're gonna have constantly cash coming in 24/7, keeping the cycle going. Don't jump around where all of a sudden you want to be a real estate agent, you want to start reselling. Oh, all of a sudden you want to be a real estate investment, you want to go around in that. Oh, but all of a sudden you see like the AI booming or whatever. Don't jump around in different industry. Try to stay focused in one and actually become the greatest of all time in it, because it's always the few 1 to 2% of the people doing 80% of the work. And you can't expect everyone to get a piece of pie, because that's not how the market works. And you simply have to be more outstanding than anyone else in the market, than your competitor, and able to maintain those wealth and keep those wealth. So hear me out today. Don't wait and take your action. Try and fail earlier on, as soon as possible, while you still have time, because it's never going to be too late. First of all, don't be ever get judged where like if you were thinking you're 30 or 50, it's too late to start over again. You still got more time to go. believe it or not, as long as you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're willing to put in the effort, 30 years, 40 years, it sounds like it's nothing. You could be at your 30 and like spend like 10 years ish, so build up a whole empire of a business and launch from there. I know Ford, the business Ford, the company Ford, was not successful until later on. I believe the founder was at least 40 plus ish. He wasn't, or 30 plus ish. He wasn't successful until later on. So of KFC. They did not make their empire in one day. Rome was not built in one day. It took time and time to compound and giving multiple try, figuring out what's the right way, what's the wrong way. It took a lot of time. It's not simply just first shot and you already hit the jackpot, right? Even if you're buying the lottery, I bet 1,000,000,000% you're not gonna hit the jackpot on the first try you buy it. It gotta be over time of you spending more time figuring out what number might work, what are the pattern there, what is the possibility, although those are like just all the myths. But I'm giving you an example here. So starting today, believe it or not, don't wait and take the action, and trust me, the next day will be better. However, I'm always here rooting for you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.